Listen carefully. Success is not created by luck, it is not created by education, and it is definitely not created by motivation that disappears by tomorrow morning. Success is created by attitude, not the fake smiling kind, but the mental posture you carry when no one is watching. A winning attitude is a decision to think differently when conditions are hostile, a decision to move forward when fear is loud, a decision to act before results show up. Most people wait for confidence. Winners act first. Confidence follows. Let me make this clear. Your mind does not respond to hope. It responds to command. If you do not tell your mind where to go, it will default to fear, doubt, and comfort. That's not weakness. That's biology. Discipline is the override. A winning attitude starts with definite purpose, not wishes, not vague goals, a clear, burning target that gives your mind a direction. A scattered mind creates a scattered life. A focused mind creates momentum. You must understand this. Faith is not passive. Faith is the ability to act with certainty before evidence appears. Every major achievement in history was built by people who moved before conditions were perfect. Waiting for certainty is how average people stay average. Fear will show up. Good? Fear means you're near something important. The question is not, do you feel fear? The question is, who's in control, you or it? A winning attitude does not eliminate fear. It uses fear as fuel, and then there is persistence, the most misunderstood force on earth. Persistence is not intensity for 1 week. Persistence is showing up when excitement is gone, applause is silent, and progress feels invisible. Failure gets tired of persistent people. That's not poetry, that's reality. Your environment matters more than your intentions. If you surround yourself with complainers, your attitude will rot. If you surround yourself with disciplined thinkers, your standards will rise. Protect your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does, excuses are the enemy. They sound reasonable, they feel comforting, and they quietly destroy potential. A winning attitude takes full responsibility, no blaming, no waiting, no negotiating with weakness. Here is the truth most people don't like. Your life is a reflection of the thoughts you allow to dominate. If you don't like your results, don't complain. Upgrade your thinking, command your mind, define your purpose, act with faith, persist without negotiation. Do this consistently, and success is not a possibility. It is an outcome. Now decide, are you going to think like the crowd or think like someone who wins, because the mind you build today decides the life you live tomorrow. No excuses, no delay, only focus. Attitude is not motivation. It's a decision you make every day. Motivation is weak. It depends on mood, energy, and comfort. Attitude does not ask how you feel. AT&T. Attitude asks, who is in control? Every morning, before the world tests you, before problems line up, before excuses show their face, you decide how you will respond. That decision shapes everything that follows. Most people lose before the day even starts, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they allow their attitude to be dictated by circumstances. If things are easy, they feel strong. If things are hard, they collapse. That is not life being unfair. That is a lack of mental command. A winning attitude means you move forward even when nothing encourages you. It means you work when results are invisible. It means you stay disciplined when emotions beg you to stop. Comfort creates average people. Pressure reveals winners. Your attitude is the filter through which you see reality. Two people can face the same situation. One sees an obstacle, the other sees a test. One complains, the other adapts. One waits, the other acts. The difference is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is mental posture. The mind is either trained or uncontrolled. There is no middle ground. If you don't train it, it will choose safety over growth every time. It will avoid risk, exaggerate fear, and justify inaction. That is why most people live small lives while dreaming big dreams. A strong attitude begins with personal responsibility. No blaming your past, no blaming your environment, no blaming people who didn't help you. The moment you blame, you surrender control. Winners never surrender control. They accept reality, then dominate it. Discipline is the backbone of a winning attitude. Not discipline for one day, not discipline when people are watching, but discipline when quitting feels logical, when progress is slow, when the mind whispers that it's not worth it. That is the moment attitude proves its power. You don't wait to feel confident. Confidence is built through action, not thought. Action under pressure. Action despite doubt. Every time you act instead of retreat, your attitude hardens. Every time you avoid discomfort, it weakens. Fear is not the enemy. Comfort is. Fear sharpens focus. Comfort dulls ambition. The strongest attitudes are built by people who choose discomfort on purpose. They train when tired. They study when bored. They continue when praise disappears. A winning attitude does not expect immediate rewards. It understands that results lag behind effort. Most people quit in the delay. They plant the seed but leave before the harvest. Patience combined with persistence is a force that cannot be stopped. Your environment constantly tries to shape your attitude. Negativity is contagious. Excuses spread fast. Weak thinking sounds reasonable. That's why you must guard your mind aggressively. What you listen to, who you listen to, what thoughts you allow to repeat. Repetition builds belief, and belief drives behavior. Every excuse you accept lowers your standard. Every standard you lower shapes your identity. And identity determines destiny. This is not philosophy, this is cause and effect. A winning attitude demands clarity. You must know exactly what you want, not vaguely, not someday. Clarity gives the mind direction. A confused mind hesitates. A clear mind moves. Persistence is the final test. Not intensity, not talent. Persistence, the ability to continue when nothing seems to work, when effort feels wasted, when failure repeats. Persistence turns resistance into surrender. Life eventually moves aside for those who refuse to stop. Understand this clearly. Success does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to firmness of mind, to decisiveness, to controlled thought backed by relentless action. Your attitude today is building your future silently. Every thought is a brick. Every action is cement. You are either constructing strength or reinforcing weakness. Decide now, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve. Decide that your attitude will no longer depend on circumstances. Decide that your mind will serve you, not sabotage you. Decide that quitting is no longer an option you negotiate with, because the moment you master your attitude, you stop asking if success is possible and start preparing for its arrival. Your mind is either your weapon or your prison. Choose. There is no neutral state, no safe middle. Every thought you repeat is either sharpening your power or tightening your chains. Most people never realize this because the prison has soft walls. It feels comfortable. It sounds reasonable. It tells you stories that justify staying where you are. The mind was designed to be directed. When it is not, it defaults to fear, doubt, and avoidance. That is not weakness. That is survival instinct. But survival is not success. Survival keeps you alive. Control moves you forward. A weapon is used with intention. A prison is built through neglect. If you do not command your thinking will command you. It will exaggerate risk, minimize potential, and convince you that waiting is wisdom. Waiting is rarely wisdom. Most of the time it is disguised fear. Look closely at how people talk to themselves. They call it being realistic. In truth, it is self-sabotage with good manners. It's not the right time. I'm not ready yet. Others are ahead of me. These thoughts don't protect you. They paralyze you. A mind turned into a weapon cuts through uncertainty. It does not need perfect clarity to act. It moves with partial information and corrects along the way. Progress is not built on certainty. It is built on decision. The prison mind asks for permission. The weapon mind takes responsibility. Responsibility is heavy, which is why most people avoid it. Blame is lighter. Excuses are comfortable. But comfort produces nothing of value. Every achievement that matters requires controlled thinking. Controlled thinking does not mean positive fantasies. It means disciplined focus. It means choosing thoughts that move why. You toward action even when emotions resist. Your mind listens to repetition. Not truth, not logic, repetition. Whatever you think most often becomes your belief. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior creates results. That cycle runs whether you are aware of it or not. Awareness gives you the option to intervene. Fear thrives in unexamined thinking. When you stop challenging your thoughts, fear fills the gaps. It predicts failure before action. It magnifies obstacles before effort. It convinces you that retreat is intelligence. A weapon mind questions fear. It asks, what is the cost of doing nothing? That question alone breaks mental chains. Most people only calculate the risk of action. Winners calculate the risk of inaction, and that risk is always higher. The prison mind lives in reaction. It waits for circumstances to improve, for confidence to appear, for someone else to lead. The weapon mind creates momentum first and confidence second. Confidence is a result, not a requirement. Discipline is the key that unlocks the cell. Discipline in thought, discipline in focus, discipline in daily behavior, not dramatic bursts, consistent control, small, repeated decisions to think deliberately instead of emotionally. Your environment is constantly trying to shape your mind. Complaints normalize weakness. Negativity lowers standards. Doubt spreads faster than ambition. If you don't protect your mental space, someone else will occupy it. Strong minds are built through exposure to difficulty. Avoidance weakens you. Challenge sharpens you. Pressure reveals what your mind has been trained to do. When pressure comes, and it will, you won't rise to the level of motivation. You will fall to the level of your thinking. The weapon mind accepts delay without losing direction. It understands that effort and reward do not arrive together. Most people quit in the gap. They misinterpret silence as failure. Silence is often preparation. Persistence is not stubbornness. It is loyalty to a decision long after emotion has left. Persistence turns resistance into surrender. Life yields to those who refuse to mentally retreat. A prisoned mind negotiates with weakness. Just this once. I'll start tomorrow. Those negotiations never end. A weapon mind sets rules and follows them regardless of mood. The hardest battle you will ever fight is internal. No one sees it, no one applauds it. But winning it changes everything else. Lose it, and no external success will ever feel enough. You are shaping your mind every day, whether you intend to or not, through what you tolerate, through what you repeat, through what you avoid. Neutrality does not exist. Choose deliberately. Train your thinking. Question your fear. Act before comfort gives permission. Because the same mind that can imprison you can also break every barrier in front of you. The choice is made daily. Definiteness of purpose beats talent, luck, and intelligence. Talent is wasted without direction. Blue. CK is fleeting and unreliable. Intelligence is meaningless if scattered. Purpose, clear and unwavering, is the engine that drives every achievement. The moment you define exactly what you want, you give your mind a target, a lens through which every decision, every action, and every thought is measured. Without it, even the most gifted people drift, reacting to life instead of commanding it. Most people spend years wandering, waiting for opportunity, or hoping success will find them. They admire talent, they envy intelligence, they chase luck, and yet they accomplish nothing substantial. The difference between those who achieve and those who dream is simple: clarity. A defined purpose creates focus, and focus multiplies every resource at your disposal. Talent without focus is a whisper in the wind. Luck without focus is wasted. Intelligence without focus is nothing more than noise. Purpose is not vague. I want to be successful is useless. I want to be rich is hollow. True purpose is precise, measurable, and personal. It is specific enough to provoke action and strong enough to endure resistance. It tells you where to aim when distraction screams at you. It tells you what to sacrifice when comfort tempts you. It defines your life with a single, non-negotiable standard: forward movement. Talent can be imitated. Luck can disappear. Intelligence can stagnate. Purpose cannot be stolen. It is yours, and it commands the mind to obey. Every setback, every failure, every insult becomes a tool rather than a weapon against you, because your purpose is immovable. When you wake up each day, your purpose pulls you toward action before motivation arrives, before excitement appears. That is power. History is full of examples, though you do not need to look far to see it yourself. People with mediocre talent but unbreakable purpose outperform geniuses who lack direction. They endure longer, act faster, and recover stronger. Purpose focuses energy, aligns thoughts, and forces persistence. Talent without it is like a bow without an arrow. Intelligence without it is a map with no destination. Luck without it is wind that changes direction at will. The clarity of purpose transforms ordinary decisions into strategic moves. Every hour spent, every relationship cultivated, every dollar invested becomes meaningful. Without purpose, the same actions are wasted, drifting through life like leaves in the current. With purpose, small steps compound, effort accumulates, and momentum builds invisibly until one day the results are undeniable. Purpose fuels resilience. Obstacles that would destroy the uncommitted become challenges to master. When luck runs dry, purpose does not complain. When intelligence falls short, purpose does not surrender. When talent falters, purpose does not panic. It persists, it adapts, it forces action in the absence of proof. It converts frustration into clarity, mistakes into lessons, and failure into preparation. Do not confuse purpose. Why? Wishful thinking. Purpose is not a hope or a dream. Purpose is a commitment to a concrete outcome that demands sacrifice and courage. It is measurable, visible, and undeniable. It is a mental hammer that smashes hesitation, fear, and distraction into dust. When purpose is clear, excuses cannot survive. Comfort cannot seduce you. Weakness has no place. Purpose sharpens the mind. It filters distractions, highlights opportunity, and primes you for execution. It transforms ordinary effort into strategic precision. Without it, no matter how intelligent or skilled you are, your mind wanders. With it, even minimal resources, limited talent, or poor circumstances can be overcome. Purpose is leverage. Purpose is the difference. Between wishing for success and claiming it, persistence alone is insufficient without purpose. Motivation alone is insufficient without purpose. Luck alone is insufficient without purpose. Talent and intelligence, no matter how exceptional, crumble without a guiding star. Purpose is the star. It is the constant, immovable point your entire life orbits around. It aligns your actions, clarifies your choices, and ensures every sacrifice counts. When your purpose is defined, fear becomes manageable. Risk becomes calculated. Time becomes an asset instead of wasted. Obstacles become temporary delays instead of roadblocks. Every step forward reinforces clarity, and every failure teaches refinement. Your purpose becomes a lens that magnifies opportunity and minimizes distraction. It transforms hesitation into momentum. It transforms chaos into control. Ask yourself this: how many brilliant ideas have died because their creators lacked clarity? How many talented people fade into obscurity because they had no single driving aim? How many lucky breaks were wasted because no one was ready to execute? Purpose is the differentiator. It is the force multiplier that turns ordinary people into legends. The world will test your purpose relentlessly. Comfort, fear, doubt, and distraction will conspire to weaken it. Only the resolute, those who have defined their path with absolute clarity, will endure. Talent, luck, and intelligence will pale in comparison to someone with unwavering purpose. That is the reality. It is harsh, it is undeniable, and it is empowering. Do not live without it. Do not wander aimlessly hoping the right moment, the right person, or the right opportunity will appear. Define your target. Know it with precision. Guard it fiercely. Let it dictate your actions, focus your energy, and harden your persistence. When talent fails, purpose persists. When luck deserts, purpose endures. When intelligence falters, purpose commands. In the end, success does not go to the smartest, the luckiest, or the most talented. Success goes to the person who knows exactly what they want, refuses to be distracted, and takes relentless, consistent action toward it. That is the power of definiteness of purpose, talent, luck, and intelligence. Seed and help, but purpose wins. Every time. Decide today. Define your purpose. Let it drive you. Let it shape every thought, every action, every sacrifice. Build your life around it, and no force on earth can stop you. Faith is not belief without proof. It's belief before proof. Most people misunderstand faith. They think it is blind hope or wishful thinking, a comforting illusion when logic fails. That is weak, that is soft. True faith is a command of the mind, a deliberate choice to act decisively even when the evidence is not yet visible. It is the engine that drives action before certainty arrives, the force that turns vision into reality while the world is still doubting. Faith is not passive. It is not a quiet prayer whispered in uncertainty. It is decisive action in the absence of guarantee. Every major achievement, every breakthrough, every success story was built by people who acted first and trusted later. They did not wait for proof. Proof always comes too late. Faith is the fuel that pushes you past hesitation, fear, and the comfort of waiting for conditions to be perfect. The weak wait for proof. The timid cling to evidence. The ordinary stumble along, waiting for clarity while opportunity passes. Faith, however, forces the hand of life itself. It says, I will act, I will persist, and I will succeed, whether the world can see it yet or not. It is not superstition. It is mental command backed by unwavering commitment. Consider this, the mind obeys what it believes. When you have faith in yourself and your purpose, your thoughts, decisions, and actions align with your vision, even when external validation is absent. The world will not provide confirmation. Circumstances will not guarantee your success. Only your belief before proof ensures that your efforts are focused, disciplined, and persistent. Faith turns fear into fuel. It converts doubt into direction. It forces you to act when others hesitate. People without faith measure risk, calculate safety, and often do nothing. People with faith measure opportunity, calculate action, and create results. Faith is not blind optimism. It is the deliberate alignment of your mind with the outcome you desire, followed by relentless execution until reality bends to your will. This is where ordinary people fail. They wait for signals, for clarity, for perfect timing. That time never comes. The world is unpredictable. Circumstances are chaotic. Yet people with faith push forward, taking steps before proof exists, learning, adjusting, and persisting until success is undeniable. They understand that action generates evidence, not the other way around. Faith is also contagious. It strengthens your resolve when the world resists you. It shields you from criticism, doubt, and negativity. People without faith are easily discouraged. They see obstacles as dead ends. People with faith see obstacles as temporary delays, lessons, and challenges to be mastered. Faith makes you unstoppable, not because say the path is easy, but because your mind refuses to surrender before results appear. Faith demands courage. It is uncomfortable. Acting without proof requires decisiveness under uncertainty, boldness when the outcome is invisible, and resilience when results are delayed. Most people cannot tolerate this discomfort, which is why they remain average. Faith is the bridge between thought and reality, a bridge only crossed by those willing to take the first step into the unknown. Faith also refines focus. When you believe before proof, your mind rejects distractions. Excuses lose power. Comfort loses appeal. The voices of doubt, both external and internal, are drowned out by the clarity of purpose that faith creates. Faith aligns every thought, every action, every decision with the goal that you have committed to. Even when proof is absent, it is not enough to hope. It is not enough to dream. Faith requires action. The world rewards execution, not intention. Faith without action is just illusion. True faith demands movement, persistent, deliberate, courageous movement in the direction of your vision. The moment you act with faith, momentum begins. Proof will follow, but it does not lead. It confirms. Faith is also a shield against failure. When you act before proof, setbacks no longer destroy you. They become feedback, lessons, and fuel. Without faith, failure feels like finality. With faith, failure is temporary, an adjustment in strategy, a stepping stone toward certainty. This is the power that separates the few who dominate life from the many who drift. Understand this: life does not wait for your confidence to arrive. Conditions will never be perfect. The world will never assure you. Waiting for proof is a trap, a prison of inaction. Faith is the key that unlocks the door. It is the mental weapon that allows you to move first, create your own evidence, and bend reality to your will. Your mind responds to what it believes. What you do today is meaningless if your mind is uncertain. Faith commands the mind to act decisively. It aligns focus, builds resilience, and magnifies effort. Action follows belief, not the other way around. Success comes to those who act before proof because they refuse to let doubt dictate the pace of their life. So decide now. Choose to believe in your purpose before evidence exists. Choose to act decisively when fear whispers retreat. Choose to persist when results are invisible. Choose to create proof with relentless action. Faith is not hope. Faith is strategy executed under uncertainty. It is the mental weapon that turns vision into reality. Those who wait for proof will always lag. Those who act with faith will always lead. Faith does not guarantee success, but without it, success is impossible. Build it, command it, act through it. Let your mind believe first, act second, and let the world catch up later. Because the greatest victories are always won by the ones who move with certainty before certainty exists. Faith is the engine, action is the vehicle, success is the inevitable destination. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Most people hear fear and freeze. They see it as a warning to quit, to retreat, to protect themselves. That is weakness disguised as caution. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is information, a flashing light telling you where growth, opportunity, and transformation lie. The moment you learn to interpret fear correctly, it becomes your guide, your compass, and even your fuel. The world is full of people who let fear dictate their lives. They avoid risks, postpone decisions, and live with what-ifs that never become realities. Fear whispers lies. You're not ready. It's too risky. Maybe you should wait. Listening to it without action is a guarantee of mediocrity. Fear signals potential, but it does not determine your path. You do every time you feel fear, recognize it. Do not fight it. Do not ignore it. Understand it. Ask yourself, why am I afraid? What is this fear telling me? Fear points directly at what matters most. It is not a barrier, it is a spotlight. Every opportunity worth pursuing carries fear because it challenges your comfort, your habits, and your ego. Comfort is easy, growth is uncomfortable. Fear is the signal of growth. A strong mindset sees fear and moves anyway. It does not wait for courage to arrive, because courage is born in action, not in contemplation. You act first and courage follows. Fear is never eliminated. It is always present when you push boundaries. The difference between winners and losers is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Winners move despite fear. Losers pause, rationalize, and fail to act. Fear also tests your clarity of purpose. When your purpose is defined, fear becomes manageable. You act because the outcome matters more than the risk. When your purpose is unclear, fear dominates, every decision is paralyzed, and every opportunity slips away. Fear is a filter. It separates those willing to pay the price from those content to drift. Every great achievement was preceded by fear. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every empire was built by people who felt fear and acted anyway. They were not fearless. They simply refused to let fear dictate their actions. Fear told them the stakes were high, and they agreed. But they moved forward anyway. That is the mindset that creates real results. Fear is also a teacher. It exposes weaknesses, gaps in preparation, and areas that need growth. Ignoring fear is reckless. Understanding fear is strategic. Analyze it. Learn from it. Then act. Action transforms fear from a threat into a tool. The stronger your mind, the more effectively you convert fear into focus and determination. Most people underestimate fear. They believe it is an obstacle to overcome. In reality, fear is a signal of significance. If something does not scare you, it probably does not matter enough to change your life. Fear marks the edge of your comfort zone. Beyond it lies opportunity, success, and growth. Those who avoid fear live small, predictable lives. Those who move through fear live large, visible, and impactful lives. Fear also builds resilience. Every time you act despite fear, you condition your mind and body to respond under pressure. You become less reactive, less controlled by circumstance, and more in command of your decisions. Fear is temporary. The strength you gain from mastering it is permanent. Understand this clearly. Fear is not optional. It is part of life. What is optional is how you respond to it. You can let it stop you, or you can let it teach you, guide you, and propel you forward. The signal is the same. The results depend entirely on you. Fear never disappears. Every level of success brings new fears, new risks, new scrutiny, new responsibilities. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the absence of fear, but the consistent practice of acting in spite of it. Each time you face fear, you expand your limits. Each time you retreat, you reinforce your boundaries. The mind obeys action, not thought. Waiting for fear to vanish is a trap. Courage is forged in the forge of action. Every time you step forward despite fear, the signal loses power over you. Fear becomes a guide, a motivator, a signpost pointing the way. Fear is also a test of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your preparation, faith in your purpose. Without faith, fear dominates. With faith, fear informs. Fear is not a stop sign. It is the world telling you, this matters, this will challenge you. Step forward anyway. Decide today you will not wait for fear to disappear. You will not negotiate with hesitation. You will see fear for what it is, a signal, not a stop sign. You will act in spite of it, learn from it, and grow through it. Fear will always exist, but it will no longer control you, because the life you want, the success you deserve, and the legacy you are capable of creating lie on the other side of fear. And every time you move forward, despite it, you prove that your mind is stronger than any signal it emits. Persistence is the only quality failure cannot defeat. Everything else can be stolen, broken, or undermined. Talent, intelligence, opportunity, even luck. But persistence? Persistence endures. It is the relentless engine that pushes you forward when everything else is telling you to quit. Failure may knock you down, it may humiliate you, it may destroy confidence temporarily, but it cannot stop someone who refuses to stop themselves. Persistence does not negotiate with circumstances. It does not care about mood, opinion, or comfort. It acts again and again until results are unavoidable. Most people give up long before they reach the point of breakthrough. They see a setback and call it final. They encounter criticism and allow it to paralyze them. They stumble once, twice, and assume they are incapable. That is weakness, not reality. Failure is temporary. Persistence is permanent. Every failure contains lessons. Every setback is a signal. The persistent person decodes these signals, adapts, and moves forward. Persistence is not stubbornness, and it is not blind repetition. It is strategic relentlessness. It is knowing that progress is often invisible, that results are delayed, and that temporary discomfort is part of the process. Those who understand this act consistently, even when excitement fades, when applause disappears, when energy wanes. That is why ordinary effort rarely produces extraordinary results. Persistence creates compounding power over time. Every success story you admire is built on persistence. The inventor who failed hundreds of times before a breakthrough, the entrepreneur who faced rejection after rejection, the athlete who trained relentlessly while others rested, none of them were immune to failure. What separated them from everyone else was their refusal to surrender. Failure tested them, shaped them, but never defeated them. That is the nature of persistence. Persistence also demands mental toughness. Your mind will scream for excuses. It will plead for comfort. It will highlight every reason to stop. The persistent person listens but does not obey. They understand that every moment of resistance is an opportunity to reinforce strength. Each time you persist when quitting seems easier, you harden your mindset, sharpen your focus, and increase your capacity for success. Most people underestimate the power of simple, repeated action. They chase dramatic breakthroughs, viral moments, or perfect conditions. The truth is, success is rarely sudden. It is built quietly and visibly by repeated decisions to act, to improve, to continue. Persistence accumulates results that talent, luck, and intelligence alone cannot match. Failure may slow it, but it cannot reverse it. Persistence transforms fear and doubt into momentum. When you continue despite uncertainty, you teach your mind that setbacks are temporary and solvable. You prove to yourself that obstacles are not permanent. You convert frustration into fuel, and every action reinforces confidence because proof of your resilience is built through doing, not thinking. The world will test you relentlessly. You will encounter criticism, ridicule, and opposition. You will face delays, mistakes, and conditions that seem impossible. Most people fold under this pressure, but the persistent, they adapt, they recalibrate, they maintain direction even when the path is unclear. Persistence is not about being faster than obstacles. It is about refusing to stop long enough for obstacles to matter. Persistence is cumulative. Small, consistent efforts accumulate into unstoppable momentum. One extra call, one extra hour, one extra attempt, repeated daily, creates compounding advantage. Failure may strike once, twice, or 10 times, but persistence absorbs the blow and continues. It refuses to negotiate with temporary defeat. It knows that time favors those who endure. You cannot outsource persistence. You cannot borrow it. You cannot fake it. It is forged in the crucible of resistance, honed by repeated commitment and hardened through experience. Those who persist learn faster, grow stronger, and eventually achieve what others deemed impossible. It is the one quality that every mentor, every coach, every great leader emphasizes because it is irreplaceable. Understand this clearly: failure will come. It will challenge you. It will frustrate you. It will test your limits. Talent may fail. Luck may fail. Timing may fail. But persistence cannot fail unless you allow it to. As long as you refuse to quit, the door to opportunity remains open, and the outcome is only a matter of time. Persistence requires patience. It requires faith that your effort is not wasted, even when results are invisible. It requires discipline to act consistently, regardless of emotion or circumstance. Those who master persistence transform resistance into mastery, doubt into clarity, and setbacks into stepping stones. Decide now, no matter how difficult, no matter how slow, no matter how many failures come, you will continue. You will refine. You will adapt. You will act. Failure may try to stop you, but it cannot. Persistence is your armor. Persistence is your weapon. Persistence is the quality that ensures you finish what others abandon. Because in the end, life rewards not the fastest, not the luckiest, not the most talented. Life rewards the relentless. Life rewards the persistent. The moment you embrace persistence, failure loses its power, obstacles become temporary, and success becomes inevitable. Your choice is simple: surrender to failure or persist until it is powerless. The only true quality that failure cannot defeat is persistence. Everything else can be stolen, delayed, or undermined. But persistence guarantees that if you continue, you will rise, you will succeed, and no one, no circumstance, and no failure can ever take that F. Your environment shapes your attitude more than your willpower. Most people think success is about grit, discipline, or internal strength alone. That is naive. Your surroundings, the people you associate with, the information you consume, the energy you absorb daily, have a far greater impact on your mindset than any amount of motivation or determination. Willpower alone is fragile. It falters under pressure, fatigue, and distraction. Environment, however, is relentless. It either builds you or breaks you. The harsh truth is that most people sabotage themselves without realizing it. They wonder why they lack focus, energy, or confidence while all the signs are right in front of them. Toxic relationships, constant complaining, negative media, and limiting beliefs echo in their minds daily, shaping thoughts and emotions without permission. Willpower can resist for a short time, but environment is persistent. It will eventually win unless you take deliberate control. A strong environment amplifies your strengths and minimizes your weaknesses. Surround yourself with ambitious, disciplined, and forward-thinking people, and your attitude elevates automatically. Ideas become sharper, standards rise, and mediocrity becomes intolerable. In contrast, Spend months or years around negativity, laziness, and indecision, and even the most determined person will slowly conform. This is not opinion. It is cause and effect. Your mind is like a garden. The environment provides the soil, the sunlight, and the water. Willpower is the effort you put in to cultivate it. You can try to force growth in poor soil or harsh conditions, but it will always require more energy, more struggle, more suffering. Place yourself in fertile ground and growth is inevitable. Your effort multiplies, your results accelerate. This is why elite performers, leaders, and successful people obsess over their environment. They understand that who and what you expose yourself to daily is more powerful than any motivational speech or self-help book. Environment determines the language of your thoughts, the speed of your action, and the resilience of your attitude. You may think you are acting independently, but your mindset is constantly being molded by the conditions around you. The dangerous part is that environment is subtle. Most people do not see its influence because it is gradual and invisible. Negative influences creep in slowly, shaping decisions, lowering standards, and normalizing mediocrity. By the time you notice, your attitude is already compromised, and willpower alone is insufficient to overcome the damage. A strong attitude is built by intentionally designing your environment. This includes the people you interact with, the content you consume, the routines you follow, and the spaces you inhabit. Every input either reinforces strength or erodes it. Discipline, focus, and persistence cannot exist in isolation. They must be supported by an environment that demands excellence and shields you from decay. Your surroundings also influence how you interpret challenges. A toxic environment exaggerates fear, inflates doubt, and glorifies comfort. A high-performing environment reframes obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and effort as non-negotiable. The same event can either crush you or propel you, depending entirely on the context in which your mind is operating. Understand this clearly. Willpower is temporary, fragile, and exhausting. Environment is constant, relentless, and shaping you whether you are aware of it or not. The world does not care about your internal struggles. It does not adjust for your good intentions. It shapes you through exposure. The question is whether you control that exposure or allow it to control you. This is why deliberate choice in environment is non-negotiable. Remove toxicity, seek inspiration, surround yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and hold you accountable. Fill your mind with ideas that elevate, routines that discipline, and experiences that expand your perspective. Anything else is wasted potential. Even the strongest willpower cannot overcome a lifetime of poor environmental conditioning. Habits, thoughts, and attitudes are reinforced daily by repetition and exposure. To break mediocrity, you must first design an environment that reinforces strength at every level, mental, emotional, and behavioral. Your environment also accelerates your growth. It determines how quickly you acquire knowledge, how efficiently you execute plans, and how resilient you become under pressure. Willpower can resist a single temptation, but environment sets the default. It shapes what you tolerate, what you aspire to, and ultimately what you achieve. If you want to dominate life, you cannot ignore this truth. You cannot rely solely on internal strength. You must ruthlessly curate your surroundings because they are constantly sculpting your mind, even when you are not aware. The people, spaces, media, and habits you allow into your life are either your allies or your enemies. They define whether your attitude becomes unstoppable or collapses under pressure. Decide today to take control. Remove influences that weaken you. Seek exposure that strengthens you. Build a mental ecosystem where discipline, courage, and ambition are natural byproducts of your environment. Your attitude will reflect it. Your results will prove it. Willpower can help you for a day, a week, or even a month. But a strong environment sustains you for a lifetime. Protect it, optimize it, and your attitude becomes unbreakable. Fail to control it, and even the strongest effort will eventually crumble under pressure, because in the end, your attitude is not just what you think or feel, it is the result of what you allow into your mind. Shape your environment, and your mind becomes unstoppable. Ignore it, and no amount of willpower can save you. Excuses are invisible chains, comfort, stable but deadly. Most people think excuses are harmless, a small mental shrug that lets them off the hook. They're not. Excuses quietly control your life, dictating your actions, shaping your results, and destroying your potential without ever showing themselves. They feel safe because they disguise in logic and reason, but in reality they are the chains that hold you prisoner, keeping you small while the world moves forward without you. Excuses always sound reasonable. I don't have time. I'm not ready yet. Conditions aren't perfect. I'll start tomorrow. Each one whispers the same lie that your inaction is justified. The dangerous part is that repeated justification becomes habit. Your mind begins to accept delay, comfort, and fear as normal. What starts as a small rationalization becomes a permanent state of mediocrity. Excuses are sneaky. They don't scream, they whisper, and if you don't confront them, they will silently destroy your life. Excuses are the refuge of the weak. They make you feel safe when you should feel uncomfortable. Growth requires discomfort. Success requires sacrifice. Excuses promise comfort, but they deliver nothing. They give you the illusion of control while secretly controlling you. The more excuses you make, the less control you actually have. Every time you justify inaction, you hand a piece of your future to weakness. Look closely, everyone has excuses. The difference is how you respond. Average people live in excuses. High performers see excuses, recognize them, and act anyway. Excuses cannot survive action. The moment you move forward despite them, they lose their power. This is why the world rewards doers, not thinkers. Action is the antidote to excuses. Movement breaks chains. Hesitation strengthens them. Excuses also disguise fear. Fear is natural.